What's common about the way that almost everybody, the big vendors are going about that market, is they're all taking their basic products and they're defeaturing them to get into this space. We've seen this over and over again, and what you end up with is the customer has to choose between a highly defeatured product at the right price or a highly featured product at the wrong price. And that's kind of the choice they get. And what's happened is throughout the industry over time has kind of focused on the large corporate buyer, because the large corporate buyer was where all the growth has been for the last 10, 15 years. That's where the growth has been. And so you built a product for there, and then the SMBs, you just hope they saved their money up and bought one of those. And as time went on, as the SMB got bigger and bigger, people started, they defeature a product. They'd take a product, cut it in half, take out half the memory, take out half the microprocessors, and sell it for, 2/3 the cost. And so what happened is it didn't take very long for the features to go away very quickly and the price to be too high as well. And I think that's, as we sit here today, that's what the products have looked like. They have been highly defeatured, mediocre functionality at a reasonable but slightly high price. HP is kind of unique in that HP has another engineering team working on those products, the MSA line. And the MSA line was for a long time a very good line because it addressed this SMB space very well. But we haven't seen a refresh of that product line in quite a while.
Wednesday.
Yeah, that's Wednesday. Yeah. Still, it's not Wednesday yet. So it's been a while since they've refreshed that product line. But as we sit here today on Monday, the product is about 5 or 6 years, 7 years old in some cases. Not a very exciting product. And even if they refresh it on Wednesday, it's been a long, long time. So where's the commitment to the SMB? And compare that to what Dell has done is, yes, we launched the MD3000i today, but what I showed in that first slide was within the last 12 months, I launched the MD1000, which is the predecessor to this. It's the same chassis with different electronics in it. And then the MD3000 without the I, which is a SAS direct attached storage solution, very successful products. We launched an NX1950, which is a sub $20,000 unified NAS and SAN. It's an iSCSI connected device as well as a NAS device, very, very much in line with the way NetApp does it. And our product is in partnership with Microsoft, so it's a great product. But just to put numbers to it, that product is twice as fast, 1.8 times as fast as its nearest competitor, and 1/2 the cost. Make no mistake, our EMC relationship is the flagship product set. We have our largest, most robust, and most complete solutions are in our Dell EMC relationship. And that's not changing, and we're not taking our focus off of that. EMC is a great partner. They deliver us phenomenal products. They're the best-in-class products in the industry.
And that's for the enterprise.
And they're for the enterprise. Okay. And that's exactly where those products were designed and targeted, and they do it better than anything in the world. But Dell also has this small, medium business where we sell servers, and the higher-end product sets just don't meet those requirements. Plus, if you think about it, one of the things I made a comment about was these products, the customer needs that commonality to Dell servers. So they need the product to use the same hard drives as a Dell server, because that's enormously valuable to a customer to have. If you buy a server and you got a spare drive, well, you buy my storage device, you already have a spare drive for it. And the EMC products often have a lot of Dell intellectual property, the work of our marketing teams, the work of our engineering teams. Those products, may have some of that in there. You're just not going to see it because there's only one product. In the case of the MD3000i, we're the only ones that make that product because it is Dell specific. It has Dell hard drives. It uses, the SBBs in the back. The array controllers go in a little chassis that's part of an SBB storage bridge bay, and it's an industry standard. HP makes an arrayed controller. They pick a silicon chip. They pick a silicon chip from PMC Sierra. I pick a silicon chip from LSI. They pick a memory chip from Vitesse. I pick a memory chip from somebody else. there's not as much differentiation as you might think in the fact that they designed their own and built their own. What they did is wrote their own code. And the reality is code is fairly stable. You know, there's mirroring and RAID 5 and all those important aspects of it. And what you'll find is Dell partners very well with the industry. And where there's value to add, we add it. Where there's not value to add, all we're going to do is go make another RAID firmware, we don't add that value. We go partner with somebody to bring that value in. And I think, actually, I think it takes more discipline and better engineering to be able to maximize the value of the industry and bring it all together than it does to go off and do it by yourself. Going off and doing it by yourself takes very talented engineers, no doubt. But designing the product and bringing it all together takes the same level of talent.
But it doesn't mean that Dell is just relabeling a product.
We are not relabeling this product. The chassis is a Dell design. The drive trays are a Dell design. The SBB, we are the chairman of the committee that created the concept. It's nothing could be further from the truth. We're not relabeling a product.
Right.
SMBs, you know, and if we say, let's just talk about the S's, the very smallest guys, many times they buy a white box solution because they can't afford. I mean, if we look in this price band of who is the number one supplier of hardware in this space, other, the category called other is the largest space. So it's none of the three-letter name guys or Dell or a NetApp, or it's none of those guys. The biggest provider is other. And when we talk to our customers, when you talk about backup, the biggest competitor in backup is not doing a backup at all. Number one competitor is apathy, is to do nothing in the S space, in the smallest. So one of the things we're trying to do is deliver products to them that will bring them up to being able to do something with it. In the medium space, I think those customers have had to buy the most expensive solutions, or they've had to buy the defeatured solutions and live with the consequences. And I think they're unhappy because the complexity gets too high. One of the problems when you start buying a very expensive solution is it comes with a lot of complexity. When you buy a defeatured version of a very expensive machine, it costs less, but you get all the complexity. And I think the medium-sized customers have struggled with that. And Michael made the point that in the SMBs, only one-third of them use this technology in the medium-sized space. Only 1/3 use it. The other 2/3 don't use any of this technology. See, heterogeneity is not as big a problem in the SMB because they don't have as many different systems to start with. That's a problem from the large corporations that did acquisitions to get there and those kind of strategies. The SMBs tend to be more homogeneous. As a minimum, if they're big enough to own 2 brands, more than likely they own one brand to do Exchange and a different brand to do database. And so what we would see them do, what a company would do, even if we were heterogeneous, we would see them buy one power vault for Exchange and use a different power vault, because if you lost a storage device, you wouldn't want to lose Exchange and all your databases on the same day. So we don't see customers deploying. Heterogeneity is not as big an issue in the SMB. Fiber channel is challenged because if you start looking at all the switches and all the hosts, and you have to put a HBA if you're going to do fiber channel, the server needs an HBA in it. If you're going to do iSCSI, the server already has a GigE port. And so you start off with some cost deltas that you just have to overcome. But for a customer who's comfortable with fiber channel, let's say they use fiber channel at the home office and they go out to a remote site, fiber channel can fit their needs very well if they're already familiar with it and they understand the needs of the HBAs and things like that. So I think for greenfield opportunities where customers learning SAN for the very first time, fiber channel is going to probably, or iSCSI is probably going to be the choice, because if it's truly greenfield, doing it for the first time, iSCSI is going to save you money and give you some benefits. Right. Most customers we talk to tell us power and cooling on storage, they don't own as much storage as they own servers. And so they're not as concerned with it. What we find is HSM and archiving and all those things are the power and cooling strategy for storage. And we haven't found many customers who aren't who don't embrace that concept rather than us going and making Energy Star storage, which would, the only thing we can do is shut the drive off when you need it.
Right.